panel discussion is tackling plastic waste. And why that is important is because that is ultimately the reason for the recycling industry. I'm often questioned by my friends and peers about my association with the plastic industry. They tell me that plastic is bad for the environment. And the way I get back to them is by telling them, which most of our speakers have already highlighted, is that plastic is not bad. Plastic is actually good for the environment. What is bad for the environment is the waste that comes out of plastic. And what is bad is the way we are dealing with that waste, the way we are not being able to manage that waste properly. So that is the reason we have chosen this wonderful topic. And let me start with Mr. Bimal Kedia to my left. Mr. Kedia, I am aware of a wonderful concept and wonderful initiative which Manjushri is working on right now. It is called as Remuseum, which deals with this wonderful subject. So probably you could start telling us about this initiative and how Manjushri is dealing with this particular subject.
Thank you. We as one of the large manufacturers of plastic packaging thought that everyone is blaming plastics. The moment you discuss with anyone that we are into plastic manufacturing or packaging, he says, is it not bad? So we thought to do away with this thought in the mind of public, in the mind of government officials, as well as policy makers, including the young children. It is necessary to educate and pass on the message very properly. So we thought we will make a recycling museum. It is named as Reuseum, which is under construction. The whole concept behind it is that we show, as you enter there, that right from cradle to grave, you require plastic. Every day, over 200 to 300 times you touch plastic. Your shoes, your cloth, your spectacles, mobile, everything around us, including the chair we are sitting and the carpet here, is plastic. So you can't do away with plastic. Yes, plastic, if it is not managed, it is going to go to the landfill, it is going to destroy the environment. So we have to manage that plastic carefully. Now in that museum, we will be showing the plastic uses first, then we are showing the menace if you don't manage it, and thereafter how to segregate, how to manage, and how recycling can be done. All these will be displayed with live machines recycling the plastics and making articles out of it. Then we are putting up a craft center also, where local ladies will be trained to make articles out of waste plastic, so that they can earn their livelihood. And we are developing this center as a tourist center, because as such, in this conference, except the plastic manufacturers, there is no one else. Similarly, in a recycling museum, except the industry, no one will come. Because whatever you do, you have to make it attractive for the public to come. So it's being developed as a interface, it's being developed as a center where people will get interested to come. There is a cafeteria, there is a theater, auditorium where you can have workshops on plastic recycling or such other topics. There is a library, there are reference films, there is a retail shop which will sell items made out of recycled plastic. So it's a complete education and imparting the whole view of the plastics, circular economy, you can say. Hence, it will be one of the educative recycling museum. Once anyone goes through it, he will understand that plastic is necessity, it's not luxury, and it has to be managed well for future. Thank you.
Mr. Pillai, I'd like to come to you now. We all know the industry leadership position that Uflex has in the market. But what motivated Uflex to get into recycling, and what are the different initiatives that you are doing under this?
In 2018, India's per capita consumption of packaging is about 10% of what US consumes. About 100 kilograms in US, and it's about 10%, it's 10 kilograms in India. Imagine 1995-94 period when economy started picking up. The per capita consumption was less than 2%. Now, this is the time we were putting up more and more capacities and try to change the lives of people, bring in more and more functional plastics. Here I would like to differentiate a little bit. There is something called the convenience plastics and the functional plastics. We don't get into single use and multi-use and other things. Convenience plastics are carry bags, forks, plates, trays and things like that. But functional plastics are plastics, packaging material which gives functional properties to the food, protects the food. It provides barrier, it provides protection to food from loss of nutrition, vitamins, etc. So, we were worried that when we bring in multi-layered plastics, functional plastics to the industry at such a large scale, what will happen to the waste? This is something we started worrying about in 1995. So this is the time we started working on the recycling technology. Now there is a myth going around, recycling can only take place for monopolymers, just the PE or the polyester alone or the PP alone. But our objective was to recycle the functional plastics, which are the multi-layer plastics. Every food product in India has different characteristics. Some food require high oxygen barrier, some require high moisture barrier properties. Some products are sold on coast, so we have high barrier requirements. Some products are sold on mountains, where we need some other functional properties. So India is a very complex country and very complex consumption of multi-layered plastic. So we had to find a solution to recycle multi-layered plastics, combination of polypropylenes and the polyethylenes and the polyester. So in 1995 we published a paper and we got an award in Davos as the first company coming from a country where the per capita consumption was less than 2%, and our vision was to develop a recycling system. Today, we recycle over 1,000 metric tons of multi-layered plastics a month. This is a phenomenal number. We are running 8 multi-layered plastic recycling plants across all our plants and recycle 1,000 metric tons of material. So it's a myth. Don't get carried away by people saying that only monopolymer can be recycled. No, multi-layered plastics can also be recycled. You need to have the right technology. So as an industrial leader, we developed this technology. We are not extruder people. We got extruders from outside. We got help from people like Arema and people who are experts in making extruders. We understood inks, we understood volatiles, we understood how to degas the material when it's going through a recycling extruder. So we have multiple degassing points. We have compatibilizers, how to bring down, how to get the melt viscosities and the temperatures of different polymers into a rheology window, into a manufacturable window. So we developed compatibilizers. By putting 1% of compatibilizer enables recycling of most different polymers. About 3 kilometers from here, in IndiaPlast, we have a recycling pavilion. You must, if you get a chance, please go and have a look at it. We are recycling all kinds of material. The machine runs polypropylene, polyester mixture of functional plastics. So this is as a leadership position in flexible packaging industry. We took this initiative and we are very proud to say that India is the only country which has this technology to recycle multi-layered plastics.
Mr. Sharma, I'd like to come to you. First of all, I'd like to understand the role of PROs with regards to the current scenario in plastic recycling in the country. And I was at the exhibition in the morning and I heard someone saying that आजकल हर कोई recycling company शुरू कर रहा है. What is the intent behind this? I don't know, but I want to understand what exactly is the scope of companies like yours and what is the scale that you can actually help plastic recycling?
We started our organization 6 years back, and initially we started collection of the pre-consumer waste from the various beverage companies like Coca-Cola, PepsiCo, Scalable, and all that. So since we are a part of a big recycling group initiative which collects and recycles with more than 100,000 tons of PET every year. So we started this thing 6 years back for strengthening our collection inputs. And as I told you, like we started with pre-consumer waste, and then gradually we moved to the post-consumer side, because we believe that this post-consumer collection is the biggest challenge, it is the biggest problem. And we started with the easiest part, which is the PET. And as my like in the previous sessions, like people have given the estimates of PET collection ranging from 75% to 90%. So we started with this same. And we established a proper formal collection mechanism for the same. Now in 2016, this PWM rules have come out, and last year these amendments have come. In addition to this, on 23rd March 2018, this Maharashtra government notification has come out, which said that there should be a ban on single-use plastics, as well as the deposit system for PET, as well as for the bin pouches. Now, at that time, the industry met the various government authorities who were doing this matter. So we also were part of that. And so we, along with this, the industry people, we, had to dilute this, this draconian law, I would say, to a certain extent. Now, as a PRO, basically, the role of an organization is for the collection, recycling, and also the awareness, because awareness of need of recycling is very important thing, particularly awareness with respect to the source segregation, because most of the problems comes if the material is not segregated at source. So if the material is not segregated at source, there is a mixing of material, then it leads to the inefficient recycling, and which creates a lot of inefficiencies in the entire system. Now, as since this topic is this PROs and recycling is a very hot topic nowadays, so a lot of people are trying to enter this industry. And my suggestion would be here that this is basically it took us like 6-7 years to reach a particular level. So it involves a lot of time and effort. You need to have an on-ground presence. You need to invest a lot in various infrastructure things. And also one more point I would like to say is that that for the last year, so whatever since last year there were collection of since last year, like the collection of MLPs have also started happening. Earlier, since MLPs do not have a the ready market, so they were not being collected. The important point here is those materials which have an economic system in place, for example like a PET or economic business model in place, they are being collected. Like metals is there, like PET is there, or maybe all the rigid plastics is there. So their collection rates are high. But for those products, particularly for the MLPs, post-consumer MLPs I would say, because the plant-based MLPs are still getting collected, they are still getting processed and recycled. But this post-consumer MLPs are still not getting collected. For this, the industry has supported to a certain extent, and to which with the support of industries and with the work of PROs, a certain amount of the collection and recycling have started happening, and therefore this number has reached to about something like close to about 15-20%. So my suggestion would be that we need more and more industry participation, and as in the previous session, Mr. Rao has said that there is on one side there is complete ban, on the other side you do nothing. So we need to do something in between. So be it industry, be it brand owner, be it producer. So we need to start doing something, be it awareness, be it collection, or having the working with PROs for recycling industry, so that at least a start to this thing happens. And that is what the government also wants at this point.
So Bhargav, you've been heading the Environment Committee at IMA for 5 years, from 2013 to 2018. So I want you to kind of answer what Mr. Sachin Sharma has put forward. Number one, is the industry doing enough with regards to recycling? And number two, what more can the industry do?
So when I started working in this space in 2013, I stepped out and what we came across is that PET has a very robust economic chain, the waste side of it. And I tried to think about, and I felt that initially that it is just an economic problem. You put money and all the kind of packaging which is not collected, all littered, would come back into the system. And then over a period of time, I understood that it is just not an economic problem, it is a socio-economic problem. Not alone the rag picker, but also every household, every person of this country needs to participate. And that's the scale of the problem which we are addressing. So if you ask me, the plastic industry, a lot needs to be done. The plastic industry needs to take up, as people who are running factories, we could even to start with, take local projects, try and train people staying in their communities locally. And this training is about house to house level. And it is just not going and talking and giving a lecture one time. It's actually teaching them how to segregate waste, having a small team of people from your team who will go and collect once a week segregated waste from house to house. I have participated along with Afrosha, and we have trained 1 lakh people living in slums in the city of Mumbai. And we can say that when people in the city of slums who can do it, we might as well do it. So, but that is just one. We need 1,000 such projects, and that's the scale of the problem. So that, yeah.
As Mr. Bhargav rightly pointed out, it's a socio-economic issue. At the same time, we also see that legalization and regulation can also help in this cause. I want you to say something about this new law which is called as EPR, Extended Producer's Responsibility. Since he's already admitted that the industry is not doing enough, is this law something that will take us towards that direction? That it will probably force the industry to do its role well?
Yes, until the EPR was enforceable, there was no activity anywhere. But once it started being enforced by Maharashtra and many other states which followed, the activity started. We are easy taking people unless there is a strict law, nothing will move, because we have to take one thought in our mind that all the developed countries have very small population, 2 crores, 5 crores. We are a 130 crore population and a very big land area. It's difficult to educate and manage people. And unless there is a proper law which works, the law has to work. Just by framing the law, it will not serve the purpose. So the evolution of proper law, proper system has to be in place, and to start with, every citizen has to be aware about it. And to begin with, we producers and brand owners have to be responsible to start the process. And if we start, and the people, waste pickers to others who are in the chain, if they get the value, the system will start rolling. It may not happen over a day, but it may take 5 to 10 years to achieve a reasonably sizable collection mechanism, which may be up to 60 to 70%. So I believe there should be a law which should be working, and the government has to take the industry body and everyone in the system to frame it in a manner which it works.
Mr. Pillai, I'd like to come to you. There are 2 sides of regulation. One is penalty and punishment, and the other is to incentivize. Mr. Gupta from Coca-Cola also highlighted the fact that recycled plastic cannot be used for food packaging purposes. So, is there a way the government can also probably incentivize the use of recycled plastic, and that could probably give a push to this industry?
Actually, at this stage, the recycling percentage is very minuscule. If you see, a country produces something like 32 to 35 million tons of packaging waste, out of which about 15%, roughly about 5 million metric tons of wastage is coming from plastics. And out of 5 million, it's only 2% which is coming from the single use and the multi-use flexible packaging material, which is coming down to something like 100,000 tons, which is 0.3% of the total waste which is generated. Now from 100,000 ton also, about 15% is only recycled. So I don't think so any kind of incentive is required. All we need to do is to, from a country which is in the habit of littering, we need to become a country which would have an infrastructure to collect it. This is something which is very important. The country which has the best collection rate is Sweden, which is only 67%. A country like US, a very organized source substitution, source reduction programs, their collection percentage is less than 30%. So we need to improve our collection system rather than incentivizing. Incentivizing will come at a later date. When, okay, we are at a level of 92% now, how do we reach from 92 to 95? Government throws up the incentives. But right now we are at a very, very preliminary stage. That's what I feel.
Mr. Sharma, what are your views on this particular aspect? Will incentivization help, or as Mr. Pillai pointed out, that probably we've still not reached that stage? Because it's not just a socio-economic issue, it is also a cultural issue.
My point there is that we need to break up the plastic waste into different categories. Because in certain kinds of plastic, there's already a lot of recycling is already happening. As like Mr. Gupta has pointed out, there is a well-established the business model for the PET recycling. And yet, this recycling rates they are between 75 to 80%, and these companies they produce this fiber of this plastic PET thing, and which is sold at even at a premium to companies like Nike and Adidas and similar companies. But in case of like the products like like the films like the MLPs and all that, so there the problem is one is the collection part. And since the collection is not happening before, there is no technology. Already, as Mr. Pillai said, that there is already technology available for recycling. The important challenge is the collection of these products. Now, this collection can happen only by using of the existing collection chain, which is a chain composed of practicals. So, one should work, because the PRO will work on the various practicals, will work on providing training to them, programs for them, so that, and also various trade schemes, so that they improve their earnings. So the focus should be on strengthening the existing collection network. If there is already the existing collection is happening, then definitely there is a technology available and capital available for the use for the recycling.
Okay. I'd like to pick one last point. Technology available for entrepreneurs. Do you see a big role for technology? You recently started a startup called as EPR Solutions, which kind of helps the traceability of the waste. So what role do you see for technology in this entire ecosystem?
So the sustainability side responsibility is responsible companies have already taken have given an undertaking that they will be using as much recycled content and packaging material for non-food packaging. Right. Now that creates a need that the waste which is coming in is actually post-consumer waste. For example, if someone is packing a shampoo, he would say that I want my shampoo bottle coming from a shampoo bottle. So, but then how will that traceability come in? So the digital platform or the technology piece we are using is where we'll start tracking the waste once it is collected either from a rack picker, or it is from a kabadi wala, or it is from a material recovery center, what is from an NGO, and then track it as it goes, as it gets sorted, as it gets paid, until it either goes to a recycling or a end of life solution. So that is the platform which we are creating, which will enable companies to come forward and say that, and because if they are going to be given a commitment, they are going to be liable for that commitment. So our technology platform gives a solution.
Okay. I have just one question to that. From pure end user point of view. See, I don't know how your app will actually work, but we live in a time where we have a smartphone, we install so many apps on our phone, and 90% of those apps are not used. So while we do have technology at our hands, we seldom make use of technology. Number one, because we are not aware of it, and even if we are aware of it, we don't have the time to use that technology. So how would you explain?
So this is not an app which is as of now which is kept in mind for a consumer to use. It is going to start from a point because the once traceability sets in, and if the value chain which is collecting the waste gets a better money because it is being accounted for, people automatically, because they are doing it for money. The value chain is working today. Rack picker works for money. And again, our challenge typically lies on the multi-layer side of things, because or on the flexible packaging, because flexible packaging, a rack picker has to work 60 times more as compared to what to make the same amount of money he has to work for rigid packaging. Average pack is 1 gram as compared to 14-15 grams for a rigid pack. The price he gets 15 to 20 rupees as compared to about 3 or 4 rupees, which now he is able to get. So to make that same amount, so this problem is, that is why I said it is extremely important we start educating house to house, person to person. The more it is, and even this, the collection of flexible packaging for a household and selling it to make money is not a viable option, because one person does not use more than 5 flexible packs per day. That is 5 grams. 4 people in a house, 20 grams. What is he going to get out of it? So, but if I look at it as a mindset, where I'm saying that this is what I'm going to give back and do for my society, but I want someone to come and take it from my house, because I don't want to keep a smelly milk pouch in my house. There are various dimensions to it. Yeah.
Thanks. So at this point of time, I would like to open this discussion to the audience. Any questions or observations among the audience here? We can take a quick. We have a mic? Yeah. We have time enough for, just identify yourself and let us know if you are directing the question to anybody in particular.
So my name is Amit Saha, and the question is to Mr. Pillai. Very quick questions. I mentioned about great efforts that Uflex is making on the recycling of multi-layer plastics, and you mentioned that you had installed it in all your factories and you've done about 1,000 tons a year or a month. That you did not mention.
Per month.
Okay, great. So how much of that is post-consumer, sir?
See, right now we are only self-sufficient and we do only industrial waste which we produce. We produce something like 14,000 metric tons of laminates per month. An average waste of 8 to 9%, we generate about 1,000 metric tons.
So the point was, sir, that every industry in their own sense manage their yield loss. The sugar industry creates bagasse, the plastic industry also consumes it, every industry consumes it. So this is not waste recycling, this is yield protection. What we are talking about here in this conference is waste recycling. And we, as plastic industry, we only mention every problem is a weight problem. So we talked about 2%, as you mentioned just now. The problem could be a weight problem, and the problem could be so many grams of weight, as Akhilesh just pointed out. But let's look at the problem in numeric size. In 2014, this country produced 160 billion pouches. 160 billion pouches of multi-layer plastics. And I am asking in this conference, who is recycling those multi-layer pouches?
Okay, so in IndiaPlast, we wanted a little more space here to.
I've seen that, very nice facility.
Yes. So no, we wanted to have a little more space for us to first wash the post-consumer waste. So the facility, the recycling does not limit only to the industrial waste. So what all you need is that a washing system where the post-consumer waste is washed, the plastic is washed, and it is put into the recycling system. So this is a very much viable option, and a lot of countries like China, they are using it. In fact, we have made an application to the Noida authority to provide us a land space of around 5 acres where we would like to put a washing system and a recycling system. So this is an extension of it. See, the most critical technology is the recycling. Washing and all is not a big challenge, you know. If you are able to crack the recycling technology, washing technology is already available. So this is something which is an extension of the recycling. One. Secondly, you know, we don't have to worry too much about segregation. You know, my friend just mentioned about segregation. So there are two kinds of segregation. There's a primary segregation where we ask the housewives and the people working at home to have a dry waste, wet waste, and the non-plastic waste. So this primary level of segregation is only required. We don't have to have a secondary level of segregation where we ask the housewife to put PE into some cans and the polypropylene into other one and multi-layer plastic into another can. So this is not required. The facility of recycling and washing is available, which we want to demonstrate, and this is a very much viable option in the country.
Oh, I think this gentleman has a question.
Good evening to all panelists. I am Mr. Vijay, President of the Karnataka State Plastic Association. Okay, this is for all the panelists, because the question what I am putting is that you raise the point of rules to be implemented to the core. The recent judgments of the Apex Court and the NGT is pointing out to the implementing authorities. You do whatever exercise you do, you don't have any powers to take the segregated waste to the next level. It is only urban local bodies and the municipalities. We pay tax to the municipalities as a household person, not as an industry. I am not talking now. Now that the problem which is happening for implementing the law, our Vimal Kedia Sir was telling, because he is well aware of, before you talk about Maharashtra, our Karnataka, I am facing this problem from 2011. Okay, now rules, it is there on the place. EPR, he was from the PRO, he was saying, what is the powers given to a PRO or under the EPR to a producer or a manufacturer? See, as a producer of a plastic industry, I am only doing a tailor job. I get a raw material, I convert it into a product and give it to the others. Now if you tell others' problem is the industry problem, who is going to address that? See, rules are there on the place, but Supreme Court itself has appointed all the 32 states, ex-Supreme High Court justices, to implement the all type of waste management. You can see the level of implementation, what is happening when you have to follow a rule and a EP. It is my question to the panelists.
Very right, in the sense that the problem of waste is so huge that it's really impossible for any single PR or any private entity to implement it. And already there are municipal bodies and the local bodies are in place who have been given the role of collection of waste. Now, since these local bodies are not able to fulfill their tasks in a I would say in an optimum manner, so that therefore this concept of entire EPR thing has come. And now this EPR rule says that the prime responsibility of collection of the waste is with the brand owner, right? And they have to set up the system of collection as well as the recycling and the entire value chain. Also, at one in the same document, they also say that the responsibility is with the local bodies also, municipal local bodies. So they have given this responsibility to both the entities. Now, since I am also part of various the EPR review committee, so we are trying to streamline this thing so that the organizations like PROs, they work with these local bodies, the other local bodies and various local bodies, to ensure that the things happen in a streamlined manner, and most of the responsibility lies with the municipality itself, because industry has got limited funds or limited resources, so they cannot take the challenge of Swachh Bharat on their own. They do not have the tech capacity. So I believe that this will happen, but it will take some time.
Conflict of interest also is there is no conflict of interest. That is what I am asking.
Shikriya, would you like to make your point?
As we go ahead, the system has to evolve. It's a learning process for corporations, municipalities, as well as the government. It cannot be done with one particular system. So as we go ahead, I think correction will happen. There are municipalities, corporations as Surat, Indore, who are doing very well, whereas there are others who are doing nothing. So it's an inspiration, it's a compulsion. All these things will pave out a way, because we individuals also have to be responsible to make it success. So I think we need to participate in every way as we go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Kriya. I think we've run out of time, so just the last quick point. I recently met a co-journalist who had come down to India from US, and very matter-of-factly he told me that Niranjan, you Indians are losing the battle of recycling. So I said, yes, probably we are behind right now, but we will definitely score over the Westerners, because the simple reason being the Western world has a linear philosophy. They start from this one point and they go to another point. They don't come back to that point. Whereas we Indians, we believe in a circular philosophy. We believe in the concept of rebirth. We believe that there is something called as karma. We believe that once we start at one point, we will again come back to that point. And recycling as well as the circular economy is all about this circular philosophy. So probably yes, we are lagging behind, but we'll soon catch up and we'll be there. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, friends. I would request all the panelists to kindly stay over. We will have to go through the rituals of facilitating our stalwarts of industry. Friends, before that, I would like to say a few words about my very good friend, Mr. Niranjan Mudholkar. I would like to say, like, as All India Plastic Manufacturers Association, for years we have been trying to Vimalji India.
Felicitate Mr. Jeeveraj Pillai.
Thank you.
I would request Mr. L.K. Singh, BP North, to felicitate Mr. Sachin Sharma.
So friends, as I was talking about Niranjan, I would say what he has done for plastic industry, even we as IPA could not do, because for last maybe more than 20 years we have been planning to do this awards for successful businessmen, and it was Mr. Niranjan Mudholkar's idea to come out with best brands of plastic industry, and they have been successfully doing it for last 2 years. I think recently we had 2 such awards. And friends, another round of applause for Mr. Niranjan as well as Mr. Kedia also, because they have won consecutively 2 awards, best brands from Economic Time Polymer. And I think even Uflex also was one of the best brand awards. Sir, आपको तो हाथ ऊपर करने की जरूरत नहीं है. Every award starts with Reliance and ends with Reliance. I request again a big round of applause for ET Polymers and Mr. Niranjan Mudholkar. Today in this conference, if at all it is successful and we have got the stars, speakers and stalwarts, it is only and only because of Mr. Niranjan Mudholkar, and we will always be indebted to Niranjan ji. Thank you very much.